Welcome to Paranormal Central, broadcasting live from Central California with your hosts Jeffrey Gonzalez and Alan Thomas. Broadcasting video worldwide at ParanormalCentral.net and broadcasting audio on the Dark Matter Network at ArtBell.com. Are you ready to witness something that you cannot explain?
I'm looking for you. You're looking for me. We have to decide what it will be. Can it be true? Can I believe the unexplained? Look into the sky. You realize you're not alone. Open your eyes. You can find the trails that control.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Paranormal Central, broadcasting live the bottom part of the Nevada Triangle in California. Go figure. My name is Jeffrey Gonzalez. I am your host for Paranormal Central. Also the founder of a group called the Sanger Paranormal Society, been in existence for over 10 years. We pretty much investigate everything paranormal, whatever you can think of, man, we're there. As simple as that. And obviously I have a team, which includes my co-host, Alan Thomas.
Hello, everyone.
And womaning the board in the back corners of the studio by herself, Emerald Bonilla.
Hi.
Hi, Emerald.
Thank you for showing up wherever you may be. I really appreciate it because I know it's a Sunday and it's football Sunday. So there's a lot of people out there who like to watch football games, and you know what? I don't blame you. So if you are here, thank you. We will be showing you guys some photographs tonight because we will have the Squatch Report with Danny Valdrama here in a couple of minutes. And if you are watching us at livestream.com, you'll see him on the screen in front of you. But if you are listening to us at artbell.com on the Dark Matter Network, you can go to his website and they'll be at the homepage marked Paranormal Central with today's date of the 12th of October. All right. Again, thank you very much for showing up. And we're going to go ahead and get right into it. We have 2 hours tonight with you. And hopefully by the end of this month, beginning of next month, we will be going 3 hours because we just have so much to talk about and not enough time to do it in. And we're going to be moving into the new stereo cell. All right, I hear some heavy breathing. Is that you, Danny?
Yeah.
All right.
3 hours?
Dang straight. What do you mean 3 hours?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that means you got to talk for 2 hours.
Probably. I got to carry this show.
Oh,
yeah. Whatever.
And that was Danny Valdrama. Thank you very much, Danny. We'll talk to you next week.
We'll see you.
All right, Danny, we are going to be talking about yours and Alan's favorite subject, the Squatch Report with this Bigfoot, and we're going to be talking about that pretty quick here. So let me, you sent me over some photographs. I have him here on my desktop, and I will be going over to photograph number 1, and let's go. All right, you're on, man. Take it away.
Yep, you can also watch them on Art Bell, too.
Art Bell, absolutely. Artbell.com has the photographs. If you are listening at artbell.com, go to the homepage, and you'll see Paranormal Central with today's date on it. So go for it, Danny.
All right, story number 1 has 2 pictures. It's from the Bigfoot Research News page. It was posted on October 11th, and you know, there's something on the hill. At this time, Matt Moneymaker might be right. And what is it, and who is it for? Those are the big questions. Matt Moneymaker took to Twitter this week, and he posted a picture of a possible Bigfoot bed in a cave. And near this cave, a few years ago, he found actual footprints. He found a trackway in the snow in the same general area. So he keeps coming back to this area, and they finally found a cave. Mm-hmm. And it looks like it's all set up for someone to go sleep in there. He said the cave in Utah can be observed from a distance by telescope. So he's recommending that they stay, and at some point the Bigfoot will probably return.
Now, who's they? BFRO?
Yeah, the BFRO, because
Okay.
they've been going to this location. So this is in Logan, Utah. And, for those who don't know who Matt Moneymaker is, he's been chasing Bigfoot for 25 years. He founded the BFRO in 1995, and he's also on Finding Bigfoot on the Animal Planet.
Right on.
Did you see both pictures?
Oh, yeah, let me put up number.
Actually, the guy's pretty cool, really.
Put
I
up
mean,
number.
I learned a lot from him when we were hanging out.
Okay, there's the second one. And, okay, I'm looking at it. Now, those are all pretty much just leaves. Like somebody brought in a bunch of tree leaves and just spread them all over the place? Is that what that is?
Yep. Some kind of bedding area. Yep.
Interesting. All right.
So we'll see if they catch anything going in and out.
Right. Now the question is, if they do, they probably won't release anything because that's like, pretty much the goal is to videotape a creature like that. And if you have somewhere in a cave, and if you can mount your equipment far away and take video of this thing walking in and out and then catch it so many times, oh my God, that's like you struck gold.
It'll
there.
never be enough, though.
You're right, because from
somebody is saying that it's a fake video or something.
Right. From a distance, it could be somebody in a suit, and that's the way it goes. So, all right.
Yeah, but we do have somebody that has seen them, has seen trackways going in and out of caves, and we're going to hope to have him on next week.
Absolutely. So,
he was sick this week, but
yeah.
hopefully we can get him on
we're
next
going
week.
to keep that top secret, and we'll let you, Danny, see if you can call him.
Teasing you guys.
Right on. All right, we're going to the picture number 3, and I read this
This one's
story.
been everywhere.
Yeah, so go ahead and talk about this one.
It's from the Bigfoot evidence page. This is a little boy. His name is Kyle Goodrunning. He's a Native American boy, and he's playing in his backyard with his sister and his cousin. And their backyard backs up to a forest area, and just beyond that, there's a river. This was posted on October 2nd. And what happened was he and his sister and his cousin were playing out in the backyard, and he happened to see a shadow in the background. And so he looked around a tree to see what it was, and the thing moved towards him, and then it stood up. And his cousin and sister got scared, and they ran away. So he was still there, and he was trying to find out what this thing was, and it stood up and started walking towards him. So he stood up, and he had an iPad with him, and he reached up with his iPad and took a picture of it, and then it was still walking towards him. So he took off running back to the house, and when he looked back, it wasn't there anymore. So he turned around and he stopped, and he went back to look for it. And when he went back to the area that it was in, he saw it crossing the river. It was halfway across the river. And then it turned around and it saw him watching it still. So it took off down the river. And the boy was genuinely scared. The picture looks kind of creepy. And it doesn't really scream Bigfoot. But the arms aren't long enough to me.
Right. Now,
it doesn't appear to be overly huge.
Talk about the boy. Nationality, he's a Native American, right? Okay, because whoever went out and did the investigation on this had him on video, and then when he
has a lot of copyrights on the video, so that's why I didn't want to play it.
When he placed the video on, and I saw the video, and he was interviewing the boy, definitely Native American.
Interviewed by Kevin Node.
Okay, and I, people were giving him a bad rap, saying that, well, why did this kid happen to have had an iPad out there, and he was taking pictures? That's awfully suspicious. And then that's when I actually made a comment. I said, no, it isn't. I have an iPad, and I give it to my son. I mean, it's not his, it's mine, but I let him use it, and he actually sometimes takes it outside. And my son loves to videotape his Hot Wheels, Legos, and he likes to put make stuff up like that. So, can this Native American kid have an iPad and go outside and videotape stuff? Absolutely, because these kids love to go on YouTube, and they like to watch.
Kids could have been playing a game on it too.
Oh yeah,
so
there you go, that too. Yeah. So it's not out of the ordinary for a kid to have an iPad and be using it. So that's very probable. Okay. Now, like you said,
it is a sacred area where this Bigfoot was spotted, because this Kevin, when he was investigating the area, he did see a bunch of trees marked with, it kind of looked like sheets, but they were like ceremonial wraps that they put around trees to ward off bad luck.
Right.
And it looks like each member of the tribe had put up one on a tree to keep the bad luck away from that area.
Actually, that's not what it is.
What is it?
It's not what it is?
No, usually they have like a sweat area, like a sweat in a place area like that, and then they take like a piece of cloth, and it represents something bad, that they have, maybe bad luck or something like that, and then they wrap it around the tree and they let it fade out and disintegrate, and it takes the bad away. You know what I mean? Like,
they're all pointed in a certain direction.
Right, yeah. But I mean, it's facing like, it's actually just, it's not to like ward off any bad luck coming to you. It's more like you're taking your bad luck out and hanging it on a tree to disintegrate.
Oh, okay.
That's what it is.
Okay, well, there you go.
Yeah,
Well,
interesting, huh?
Yeah, now, I mean, I'm looking at the photograph. Obviously, the face is blocked off. And now there's a dark shadow on it. Is that somebody actually did that on purpose?
There is something there. There's somebody there, but whether it's a Bigfoot or not, I don't know, because the arms aren't long enough to me.
Right.
Some people were saying it's a ghillie suit, but if it was a ghillie suit, you wouldn't be able to see the arms because it'd be like a big old net around
Right.
you.
I don't know.
And it's kind of degraded the picture because he transferred it from his iPad to his iPod. And who knows how many times it's been transferred before it got to this.
Right.
So each time you transfer it, it degrades a little bit.
Now, the person who did the interview on this little boy, how did they get in contact? Is he familiar with that particular
It
area?
didn't really say how he got in contact with them. I mean, he just came up and interviewed him and asked him his permission to videotape him.
Right.
And then just started interviewing from there. I had never heard of the interviewer before, so I don't know if he's somebody that lives in the area or
Me
not.
either.
Right.
It was pretty oaky, huh? But I mean, they're supposed to be
And
like...
this happened on October 2nd, and the video was made on October 3rd, the next day.
Huh. Interesting. All right. Well, hey, this stuff is out there, and we put it out there for you to make your own judgment. And obviously, there's really not enough information here to basically come up with a verdict. So this is just, an unsolved and...
And it says the boy was 10 feet away, but he didn't offer any description of what it looked like because he had the best view of it.
Right.
He didn't say if it was a hair-covered face or anything like that.
Well, I tell you what, the one I saw from, like 500 yards away, immediately this is closer, and the first thing you notice when you first see one is its shoulders and chest are huge. And that has like, I don't know, it looks like a tree trunk. It doesn't have any, it's not huge. So,
Yeah, we don't know.
It doesn't look like one to me at all.
Right. But
unless he's trying to be a tree.
But, yeah, and then they stated that they went back to the same spot, and this object here is no longer there.
Well, and, some guy wrapped up in a blanket or something.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
Well, there you go. All right. Let's move on to the next story. And
From the Bigfoot Believers page. There's two pictures to this one.
Okay. First
These
one is
are
up.
trail cam pictures taken from Northeast Ohio. This was posted by Katie Roberts on October 10th. And these aren't her pictures. These are pictures that belong to her sister and a brother-in-law who's a cop. And they're trail cam pictures that they have set up in their back pasture. It's about a quarter mile from the house. And they're looking for deer in their area. And placed about 3 feet high, pointed upwards. And there's no houses around that area. So the first picture, it kind of looks weird. It has a flash in it.
Right.
You can see it at the top. But this was explained. It was because when she put it up on her computer, when she downloaded the file onto her computer, they didn't know how to take it off of there to put it on Facebook. So she took a picture of it
Of the screen.
of the computer screen with her phone, with her cell phone. That's why there's a flash at the top.
Okay, that makes sense. All right.
So-
I'm looking at the head. The eyes. The whatever it is looking back at the camera,
Yeah,
and
because it looks like an obvious flash from the camera.
and the eyes are glowing a little bit there.
They're saying it could be somebody with a hoodie, but if you look where the ear's supposed to be, it looks like there's an ear there.
Yep.
And it wouldn't be there if it was a hoodie.
I definitely see ear there. Now,
If the camera's 3 feet off the ground, why is it looking down at this thing?
It's 3 feet off the ground, pointed upwards, she said. So I don't know. It doesn't look like it's pointed upwards from there. It looks like it's even with the creature. And some people were saying, well, if it's 3 feet off the ground, maybe this is a gnome. So we got the gnome again this week. But it looks kind of like your costume that you have.
Yeah, I just actually made a call out for my son to bring me the mask. He's gonna go to see if he can find it. Right now we're in Halloween mode, so we have Halloween props and everything all over the house. Hopefully he can find it here. That's what I was gonna say. I'm looking at the bodysuit, and that bodysuit resembles the bodysuit
That's the
that
first
I
thing
have.
I saw when I looked at the picture is that it looks like your mask, and plus the body
Yeah.
in the midsection has wrinkles in it. So
Oh, there they are.
kind of like
Yeah,
an obvious
sure
suit.
do. Yeah, and
It's
it's
muscles, man.
it's looking like a suit to me, and hopefully my son can find the mask and then throw it at me right now. And there it is. She
Some
found it.
people were saying that
Right.
it was a hoax, and she's saying it's not a hoax. They don't know what it is. She's not on any Bigfoot sites. She's just there on Facebook for coupons to get coupons, and she had to search for the Bigfoot sites to put this on there to ask their opinion on them.
Here is my $100 Bigfoot costume
Got it.
that my wife.
Make it a big screen so they can see
Okay, what my wife bought me for my birthday like 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
She did say that there is one person who is an NFL player, a former NFL player from the 80s, who wants their property and has been after their property for a long time, and thinks that it may be him trying to scare them off of their property, trying to get them to sell.
Well, there's the Bigfoot mask. All right. Yeah, maybe, but there it is, you guys. I'm gonna put the picture back up again, so that way you guys can get an idea.
Yeah, saggy muscles, like he isn't ripped at all, huh? He's kind of got
It
that.
has the big head and the forehead. I mean, the big eyes and the big forehead.
Yeah.
I got a feeling it's this mask. It has the wrinkles in the forehead. It has the ear right there. It has the sideburns. See how the hair comes down in front of the ear? Well, there it is right there.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's all there. I mean, I think it's this mask, guys. I really do with the actual suit. So
With
I'm
the
gonna say,
bagginess of the clothing.
yeah. Let me.
Man, and I see, and he's kind of looking back, huh?
Yeah,
he's walking away and turning around.
looking. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, here's another
So I don't think
photograph.
it's them that's hoaxing it. I think somebody's trying to scare them.
Trying to scare them. Here's another photograph.
We all know Bigfoot avoids trail cams like the plague.
Yeah. So.
You can't catch Bigfoot on camera.
Heck, man, we've been trying for a long time. We have one picture, 2009, and that's it from a game cam.
Earlier than that,
2007.
Yeah, a long time ago, man. I can't believe it's been that long already.
But we have cameras hanging out there constantly right now. We have not got a shot.
We got to go back and get those. So.
And we got a bunch of them out
so.
there.
Okay, I just put up the second one, and there you go. So, all right, what else is going on, Danny?
That is it.
All right. So you going to a party at 5:30?
Yeah.
Then you better get out of here.
Yeah.
Who birthday party or what?
No, it's a taste of the town. They have all the restaurants, the local restaurants where you can go, and if you haven't been to them, you can go out there and sample what they have to offer.
This is in Kingsburg, right?
It's in Kingsburg, and there's also all the vintners there where you can go wine tasting too.
Ooh. Shh, don't tell my wife.
Man,
I know.
we'll be there
Well,
in a minute.
2 minute delay, you can hear, hey, I want to go. What? I guarantee you can hear.
Hear the car skidding out.
So, all right, Danny, thank you very much, and we will talk to you next week, okay?
Later,
Okay,
Danny.
see you guys.
Thanks, man. See ya.
Bye.
All right, that was
Great
Danny.
pictures last night, Danny, if you're still here.
Oh, yeah. Danny came over last night. We had a little production meeting, and came out good, so we're just going to see what happens now. So, all right. We're going to talk. We have a lot of stuff to talk about, but we're going to have somebody on the phone. I actually got an email when we were talking about the Ebola thing last week. I got an email, says, hey, you guys, do you guys remember October 28th, 2013, when you guys did the show at the haunted house thing, and we had Josh talk about the rail car? Somebody actually remembered that and brought it up. And then all of a sudden, Josh sent me, just out of the blue, a message. He goes, hey, do you remember me talking about the rail cars and all that kind of stuff? So I said, man, we need to get him back on. So we're gonna go ahead and get Josh back on the line. back in the days, a couple of years ago. He used to be an ambulance driver, paramedic. And he actually called me and said, hey, I need to tell you what is coming in by the truckloads down where we live. And that we're talking Hanford, Lemoore area. Huh? Nothing? Uh-oh. Well, you know what? I said 15:30. So I said half hour after 5:30. So we got 10 minutes, so maybe he's not ready yet. So, but we're gonna go ahead and talk about this a little bit. But I want him to tell you what he saw, and because I don't want to basically spoil it, because I wanted it to come from him. And for those who remember last year's show, and I can't believe this guy remembered, or he went back and listened to the show, but that show is not on archive. So he remembered it because he sent me an email on it.
Yeah, that one's not even on a live stream archive.
No, it isn't. So he remembered it, so which is kind of cool, and that means, man, do we have a fan that remembers this stuff. So thank you for remembering that. Appreciate it. But let's talk about the Ebola.
I never put two and two together.
No, I didn't.
I didn't even think
I didn't even think about it, to be honest, until he sent me the email. And then Josh, right about the same time, sent me a text, said, hey, do you remember what I found? And we talked about it. And I said, holy smokes. Which is kind of scary, because now, is this a false flag? Is this meant to happen? Have they been... But why would they prepare for something like this? If they're willing to kill away people, then why send out all these supplies?
It would be for the... I don't know. That's a good question.
If they wanted to release a virus and kill everybody, then why send out supplies in different areas of the United States and place them there and just leave them there, so when something happens, you have them at your disposal?
Especially pallets. It was pallets,
and yeah.
And I verified that. I have a friend that works at an ambulance company, and I asked them if they got some, and they said yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I mean, it was a lot of those.
Emerald's going to try to get him back on again, so hopefully he'll answer.
A controlled false flag, they say in chat.
Yeah, a very good possibility of that. It's a good reason also. Oh, you know what? I forgot to put the freaking... Oh, I have them. Never mind. Yeah, I don't know. Martial law. From what I understand... Okay, check this out. Obama recently signed an executive order that if you show signs of a virus, and that can mean anything. That can mean a temperature, all right, a high fever, then they have a right to quarantine you. Now, I'm telling you right now, this is what they are planning to do to try to fight Ebola. iPads. All they have is iPads, and there's an app built into the iPads, and what they do is if you come off a plane, or if they dispatch on a possible Ebola scare or whatever, they're going to come to you, they're going to put the iPad on your forehead, and they're going to check your temperature. If you have a high temperature, they're going to quarantine you, just like that. They're going to take you away, and by force, all right? And they have every right to, after Obama signed that executive order. So, if your child just happens to have a fever, and it's just a fever because he has a cold, if someone calls in and says, hey, I think Mary's little kid Johnny has the Ebola, if they come over here, put that on his forehead, yep, he has a fever, take him away.
Or the whole family.
They can quarantine you.
Yeah.
That is scary stuff, you guys. All right? That is scary stuff right there. That can happen anytime.
Well, I know, like Emerald was saying right before the show about the Simpsons.
Right. Was
that, everybody brought out that Simpson thing in the Ebola in when? 1993?
97, I think it was.
It was back there.
But you said, and you dug up some digging there, Emerald, and you said...
That episode was referring to the outbreak we had in the 90s.
See, I don't even
It wasn't referring to the outbreak we have now.
Where was the outbreak
It was
located?
in the U.S.
I don't remember.
I don't either.
It wasn't as big as it is today, maybe because it was to do with the media and stuff like that. But it wasn't that really a big deal back then.
Now,
For some reason, I don't think it's a big deal right now.
you
I
know,
don't
and
either.
let's talk about that. You know, back then in 1997, there was no Facebook. All right, so you know, when somebody releases a video about some one person, you know, being taken away because he has Ebola, it's going to hit the social media, and the media is going to pick it up. Oh my God! But let's talk about that. From what I understand, to this day, there's only been about 3,500 people die. Okay, and
that's around the world.
And that's around the world, mostly in Africa. And I wanted to do some research and bring in the numbers, but think about this. How many people die every year with colds and viruses like the fevers, high fevers?
Probably that many.
We're talking a lot, you guys. We're talking, you know, how many people die in car accidents every year? We're talking hundreds of thousands of people. So when you talk 1, 2 people, 3 people getting Ebola, don't freak out. Because a lot of people are freaking out. It's because you see the same story on every post on Facebook. And that's all you see. Sure, it's going to freak you out, you guys. And the media is doing exactly the same thing. They're scaring everybody.
And they're doing it on purpose. And they're doing it to make you not see what they're doing. Like what they don't report on, like the 6 o'clock in the morning signature that the president put on something that you lose your gun or something like that. You know what I mean? I mean, that's what they're doing.
Right.
Make everybody focus on this stupid stuff when they are like eroding our rights.
I mean, it's sounding more and more. Obviously, they are trying to scare us, and they're doing a good job of it. Because, you know, obviously, last week, you know, several of you emailed and texted us, said, man, you scared the you-know-what about, you know, to us about the Ebola thing. And it wasn't our intent to do that. You know, we're just basically telling you what we're witnessing. Because a lot of you guys out there don't see what we see, because we're constantly on Facebook and social media trying to figure out what's really going on. And there's a lot of people out there who don't have the time to do that. And we're going to tell you what's going on out there. Now,
They should see me. I don't sleep hardly. So all night long, you know, I follow these stories to their end, you know, and history and going back and to the source. And
right.
I mean, a lot of it is fluff. I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of it is fluff. The big things is like the chemtrails. To me, that's real important, because they're spraying it. They really are spraying it. I mean, the government guys are coming out and saying they're spraying it. Could they spray Ebola? You know, that's the stuff I think about.
Oh.
Right? I mean, like, here they go spraying stuff. Can they spray Ebola?
Right. Josh just texted me. He says, I'm in the ER with my daughter. Looks like we'll be getting discharged soon. I'll call you as soon as we get out of here. A softball injury. So, softball injury.
Sucks.
We're with you, man.
Okay, so as soon as he gets out of the ER, hopefully before the 7 o'clock, he'll give us a call, and then we'll talk about what we were just talking about. So, all right. So, is it something to really freak out on right now? No. I would start freaking out if all of a sudden the military moves in Dallas, Texas, and quarantines everybody, and they set up martial law. Then I would start freaking out, because that's probably what this whole thing was about.
I read somewhere in, I think it's Georgia or somewhere over there, the governor already signed a thing saying that if, you know, so many people wound up with this fever, that he was going to lock down the state and do martial law. And he already signed a thing
And I
saying
think that was Connecticut.
It was one of those.
I was
East
reading that
Coast,
too,
yeah.
But he signed it like October the 2nd,
Right.
I think it was.
Just only recent.
Yeah, and which means Obama should be doing that right now for the country, but he's not. And you guys, if you guys been watching us and listening to us, I said that if they don't shut down these borders, 2 months ago, there's a virus that's going to walk in or fly in. All right? And that's exactly what happened. Now we have the Ebola virus in our country. And Obama's not doing anything about it. Why? Why not, guys?
They're ordering. That's because they have to use all those bullets, and they have to use all those what do they call them, caskets?
Wait.
Are
you talking about those?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, they
see,
have so
see,
many
I
of
didn't.
those.
I didn't want to scare you guys, but this has been out for a while now.
Yeah, it has.
And what I'm showing you right now are those plastic, what they say are coffins.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and there are literally hundreds of thousands, probably.
It's in the millions.
In the millions. Okay,
Yeah.
and there's
Every stack like that is $500,000.
okay. What do you mean stack? You mean location?
Yeah, every location that has stacks like that is around $500,000.
Okay.
Between 300,000 and 500,000.
Okay, so Jesse Ventura actually on his show a long time ago, he actually, somebody called him on it and they found one of these locations, and they look like coffins and they actually have lids and the whole 9 yards. These particular plastic, and I'm going to call them coffins, you can actually put about 5 people in one of these. All right, so if there's 1 million of these things in there, well, then you can handle 5 million people. Is that what these are for? For human beings? I don't know, but what else would they be used for? And they're just sitting there at different locations around the United States, hidden away from the public's eye. And if you can't, if you didn't know what they were, then you would just drive by or walk on by thinking, it's part of a construction company and they're storing cabinets or whatever there.
They could fit 4 people in one of those, according to these guys.
Okay, so I'm going to show you another picture real quick. That one's one of them.
Millions of them all around the United States.
Did I show that? Here we go.
I mean, look at that pile.
Okay,
that's huge.
So that's a lot of
looks like
these
a building.
Plastic. Yeah. So again, if you didn't know what you were looking at,
it's a keep out sign.
You would not even bother to investigate. It just because it's none of your business what these are. All right, and they're not going to put out their locations for coffins. They're not going to publicly admit to it.
It's a keep out sign, not for sale. Keep out.
Right.
That's what the sign says. Keep out.
So, and these are located all over the place, you guys, all over the place. So, go and do some research for those people who think I'm smoking the crack again. Go Google plastic coffins, FEMA camps, and you will find a lot of these photographs on the internet. They're right there for everybody to see. And they actually have photographs in there where there's actually, a person is actually laying in it, and you can fit up to 4 people, like someone just mentioned on chat. Is this for a massive infection, a viral infection that's coming our way? Is it for a massive, human catastrophe? I'm thinking so. These are there for a specific reason. Now, is it there because of the Ebola virus? No, I'm not going to say that. So I don't know. But there are locations like this splattered all over the United States, guys, and that's what these are.
I always thought it was going to be they were going to use the 24 billion rounds of, and shoot people and then load up the coffins.
Yeah, but do you think people like you and me who work for the government would, if they were instructed to shoot all those people, and those people that you are looking at right now, you see children, you see mothers and fathers, grandparents.
What if they had Ebola?
Well, if they but see,
what if everybody's walking around like, I got Ebola?
Well, now this
get away from me.
Now this is a different thing. Let's just say then a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
Then that's a different story. Okay, I'm just throwing that out there. Like, for example, The Walking Dead is, it's the new season starts tonight. If you look at The Walking Dead and you see them, well, they're not them anymore, right?
Yeah, but only now, the Ebola. Now, this is something you guys could research, and I've been researching Ebola now for a little while. Did you know that in Africa that there's I don't know how many, but I read 3 stories of they were dead from Ebola, and then they got up and they lived.
And
but only they were all messed up too.
The same thing was claimed with voodoo, though. So I mean, we really got to do some digging to see whether or not that's true.
I know, but only I'm just saying, like I don't think Ebola is that big of a deal.
No, not
really,
not right now. They're trying to turn it into something it's not.
Right.
They're doing something, and they're using that to distract us.
Oh yeah.
That's true too. They could be distracting us.
I'm always trying to figure out, like, it's like Bigfoot. See, now when you go out Bigfoot hunting, he throws rocks at you, and you look where the rock landed, right? And every time you look where the rock landed, he moved, because you're not looking at him; you're looking at where he threw the rock, right?
Okay,
and then he moves. So the government is throwing Ebola rocks, right, and other little things.
All right,
and we're looking at that, and while we're looking at that, they're doing something else.
Then let's take that into consideration. Let's say there is a I don't want to say conspiracy, but let's say there's something going on with Obama right now that they're trying to hide. So let's distract the public from what's happening, like Benghazi. Something of that nature. That's what I'm saying.
Well, they've been trying to avoid that. The Benghazi. What was the other one? I know there's...
Fast and Furious?
Yeah, Fast and Furious.
Because they just fired Holder. Actually, he just told Holder, you're out of here. But apparently they found something on Holder and this whole Fast and Furious and selling guns to, the bad guys. So, it very well may be that, you guys, that's all this is. It's just a false flag. So you guys are not watching the news or watching anything that's going on with Obama right now. Who knows? Okay? And that's what they do. And Alan's right. This could be something that is absolutely nothing, but they're instructing the liberal media to make it something, so you guys are not looking at what's going on in the background on Obama or Fast and Furious or Benghazi and all that crap.
Now there is something going on with these guys, and I've been reading about it more and more, and it seems like that it's tied into all this stuff, right? And they're making this. They want like a one world government, right? And that, I think that's where all people are going to rebel, and I think that's when all these things are going to be used on everybody, because nobody's going to sit still for this idea they have, even though I have a feeling that they're going to, like right now, for instance, did you know, I was doing some research the other night, if you go to Washington and you try to look up the history of the beginning of our country, did you know that they took out all the history of it? You can't find the history of how the United States, it's all gone, about God and all that. All that's all gone. All that, it used to be there, but it's not there no more. They took it out.
From where?
From all the archives and the museum things around Washington.
Huh.
They take it out, and they're adding other things. They're putting other things in that you could look at, but that's all gone. And actually, in what it's all going to, and it's not our country only. This is the part that a lot of people don't get. Every country is going towards this conservative, socialist world, and now there's this new idea they're throwing around, and actually President Reagan threw it around first, but other people have said it, and that was like, what would happen if we had a threat from outside of our world, and we had to unify together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that they're doing that, and now the threat is more real than ever. I mean, if you look up UFO reports in the last 5 or 10 years, it's off the chart.
Yeah, it is.
and I think that's the big reveal. I think there's going to be a big lie, and that's going to be the big lie thing. They're going to bring in this alien threat. They're going to put us all under one world government against this other threat
It's gonna be like
Yeah.
Pacific Rim.
Kind of like.
We're gonna have giant robots.
It would be kind of cool.
You know, and
that's
we
where
don't.
my research leads me this way.
Yeah.
Right? Away from all this kind of stuff.
And you know, we don't even know what we have. You know,
Right.
underground, what
Yeah.
they're making. You know, I can tell you right now, we have a very high, top secret black space project, and we're already in space, guys. I can tell you that right now. All right, the space shuttle was just a front.
Yep.
We are going to other moons, other planets. That's already been done. I mean, we've been doing that for a while now. So.
You know when I knew was when they had the rovers,
Mhm.
right? And then one of the rovers got so dusty that the batteries couldn't charge.
So
Right.
somebody came and cleaned it.
Yeah, and then one day, like the very next day, all of a sudden they said a windstorm blew through and blew all the dust off and cleaned it off like brand new. And then it's been going ever since, and nobody said a thing about anything getting dusty or dirty for years, 2 years. Okay, so when did a dust storm dust off stuff? It always leaves dust.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. So you know what? It's right there in front of your face. You just have to put two together. That just didn't make any sense, right, guys? But NASA is actually saying that because you guys have to read between the lines. It's as simple as that. You know, there are things going on out there that if you guys knew, it would just blow you away, and it would change our lives forever. So and you guys all know where I'm coming from on religion, and where Alan is coming from with religion, and where Emerald is coming from. You know, I don't think we're the only ones in the galaxies. I mean, there's absolutely freaking no way. There's absolutely no way that we're the only ones out there. And I would like to show you maybe next week, but the Hubble telescope, and this was just last year. Somebody bought some time, and they got the telescope, you guys, and they pointed it up in the sky, and they found an inch of black space between two stars, and they aimed a telescope right in between there, and they opened the shutter, and they took they were taking pictures for about a week, right? And then when they came back and got it developed, and they showed in that inch space, billions and trillions of miles out, there was what looked to be stars, all in this location, in this inch, right? But those weren't stars. Each one of that light configuration was a galaxy. And in each galaxy, there was billions of planets and stars and moons in that galaxy. So that was just an inch, the Hubble telescope that it took. So you can't. There's no. It's mind-boggling.
And that was supposed to be the end of the known universe, where they couldn't see any further. That little dark spot was not supposed to have anything past that.
Okay. But just in that little spot,
Yeah.
we're talking trillions and trillions of planets. Now, you have another inch over here with trillions and trillions of... So, how many gazillions of other planets are out there, guys? So, we're just a little tiny speck. We're absolutely nothing. If Earth were to blow up tomorrow, who cares?
I mean, I was looking at a picture somebody posted on Facebook earlier. It was the galaxy, like our spiral galaxy that we live in. And then there was a little yellow dot. And it said all the stars that you could see in the sky when you're outside are inside that little yellow dot. And it was just a little yellow dot inside of our solar system. And it was like, wow.
Mind-boggling, guys.
Yeah, you can't see the whole galaxy. All you can see is what's in that little yellow circle.
There's no way you can comprehend. It's just, it would, no. There's absolutely no way. So are we alone? Absolutely not. Are we being visited? I think we are. And I think they're watching us. I believe that we're just an experiment here. That's the way I feel. But what type of experiment? I don't know. Is there a high power involved? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, there's higher power. And to me, a higher power is God. I mean, anybody, it could be God. To me is a higher power, and that God, whatever God is, okay, I think is in charge. That's what I think is going on. That's my theory. People like Emerald who don't believe in religion, probably. Do you believe in a higher power?
Well, I believe in like the whole UFO type thing, yeah,
Okay.
and that they are in quote unquote higher power. Their technology is way far advanced,
Right.
so that would be quote unquote a higher power.
Sure, and that's where I'm going too.
Yeah.
But a God to me could be a spiritual God, and that God could have invented or the aliens, which could be we can go forever on this.
Yeah, you
Like,
could.
You know what's really cool? It's something that I came across, and it was recently in research again. We have the scientists are just now telling us that we have 10 dimensions. Okay, 4 of them we could see, touch, space, time. 4 of them we're in and we can see. 6 we can't see. And there's certain books you can read, and one of them's the most popular book in the whole world for like 6,000 years. In the very first chapter, it talks about, I think it was in the first book in chapter 6, it talks about these 10 dimensions. Okay, and these we can't see or interact with that other dimension, these other dimensions, but they can interact and they can see.
And for
in
all
our
those who
dimensions.
don't know what he's talking about, as far as the book, he's talking about the Bible.
Right.
So the Bible is literally talking about paranormal stuff, you guys.
All the time.
About dimensions. And there are places in there where they talk about wheels in the sky that are on fire. Right?
So that's what I'm trying to figure out. It's the only book. I mean, you could read people's books, and they all are from their perspective, right? Of what they know. Or you could read this one book that so far hasn't never been wrong, and you can believe whatever you want to believe when you're reading it, but only it talks about these other dimensions, and it talks about this is just only. It doesn't matter what you believe, okay, or I believe. This is just a story that it has in it about Daniel. I think it's I think it was the second chapter, and he had some problem with a king, and he started praying for an answer, and then finally this angel comes, right, and tells him. And then Daniel went on a 21-day fast. I don't know if the 21-day fast had anything to do with it, but Daniel was on a 21-day fast. 21 days goes by, and then this angel comes and says it's a good thing that I had a battle, the Prince of Persia, to get here, and it took 21 days. Okay. So now he was battling something in another dimension. Okay, was it aliens? Okay, now was it aliens in ships?
What I have heard, and this is like from Buddhism, and it's like you can cleanse yourself for so many days, which opens up your third eye, and you can see, therefore, now other dimensions. So maybe with him fasting, he cleansed himself enough that he was able to see these other dimensions. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
even like our tribe.
Does it say he had water or anything?
No.
I don't think you could go for 21 days without food.
Yeah, I mean it just says he was fasting, but I mean there's a bunch of ways to fast.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
You could just fast like I'm not eating any more chocolate.
Yeah.
That's my fast.
And we're talking back in biblical times, where to this day we don't have GMO foods, we don't have Pepsi and Coke, So obviously they were eating well. They were not eating all the bad foods that clog up, the fluoride and everything. So he was probably at that point where he didn't really have to fast that much in order to clean whatever he needed to clean in order to see the other dimensions.
Now you're hitting on exactly what I was researching about.
Ooh.
About that, this third eye thing. Like, okay, nowadays there's all these people that could see everything,
right.
But only now these guys were seeing stuff. I mean, they wrote, like, the back end of that book is talking more about today than it talked about of any other time in history. Okay, I mean, it's spelling it out. You could go and read it right now, and you can see what they're doing in Syria and Persia. And, I mean, I'm serious. You could read it and look at the news and look at that book, and you're going, oh my God. But the king had a dream. Okay, and he took over the kingdom from his dad, and he had this dream, and he didn't forget the dream, but he told all his little cronies that his dad had, was like his court or whatever, magicians and all this stuff. And he said, you know what, I can't remember my dream. You guys tell me the dream. And they're like, man, nobody could tell you a dream. Nobody. And he said, okay, off with their heads, like that. If you can't tell me my dream, they're going, wait, we might know somebody. Right? And then they went and got Daniel, and Daniel says, I can't tell you the dream either. Only God could reveal that. But don't chop my head off. Let me go pray about it. So then he goes and prays about it, and he comes back, and then he interprets the dream. Completely interprets the dream.
So maybe he went into a state where he meditated,
and he somehow was able
to
get in contact with this other dimension thing.
Right.
Then there was this other place that, in this book I'm reading, it has like little sections on the side that has things that are related, right, of the topic. And there's this, I can't remember what book it was, because I was only looking for things that these people were seeing in another dimension. And this one army, I think they were the Assyrians or something like that, they surrounded this camp completely. I mean, they surrounded them, and when the Jewish people woke up in the morning, they're like, oh my God. And I think the guy's name was Joshua, or somebody that was in the camp, or no, Elijah, or so. I can't remember the name, but they came running to him, and they said, oh no, what are we going to do? And then he was kind of like exasperated with the guy. He's like, the ones that are with us are more than the ones that are surrounding us. And he said, and the guy's like, what? He goes, the ones that are with us are more than the ones that are surrounding us. So he was seeing something nobody else could see, right? And then finally he just said, hey, God, open this dude's eyes so that, he could see. And he did. And then the guy could see this mountain full of burning chariots. Okay, now burning chariots? What does that describe? What does that make you think? That's I'm not researching it to find God as much as I'm researching it to figure out, like, okay, are UFOs real? Can people see? And what book are you going to read that's going to tell you anything? Like you're going to read Nick Redfern or something like that. He's going to give you,
right.
About the, no, you got to go back and read the one you're talking about, the India history and the Roman history and the biblical history, and those guys are the ones telling the story,
right?
And they're telling you the truth because you can go and check it and find out that everything that they said happened.
There are
archaeology
paintings that we have of, let's say, the Virgin Mary or old cities, and in the background behind their heads are these crafts that are in the sky with fire coming out of them. And
I could see that. I could see the correlation, how we may have, not trying to dish religion or anything, but when you start thinking about it, they could have interpreted that whole belief in God or Jesus or the whole whatever as extraterrestrial life.
Right.
And it could be good extraterrestrials and
either
bad
or. Yeah, you could go either or. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. But like he had a vision, other people have visions, of what they say is to them, and they're not denying. I mean, the higher power of Jesus or God or whatever. So, it could be. Well, you know what? Oh man.
There's so many ways you could go with this. I mean, it could be them putting it into a form where we could understand it. That's where religion came from.
And that right there reminds me of the movie Contact with Jodie Foster. You remember when Jodie Foster went into the time machine and she's on the beach, and all of a sudden she sees this three-dimensional or whatever coming towards her on the beach, and then all of a sudden it shapes into her father, and she says that, and it says that, you know, you would not be able to handle what we look like, so we transformed, we went into your head and we focused and we made just, you know, your father. So
is that like Heidi Hollis was telling us, where the little guy was looking at the picture of her cousin,
and then all of a sudden there was
nephew, and then turned into her nephew and said, "Don't hurt me."
So you can,
I'm your nephew.
So you don't freak out of what's really out there, and if that's the case, obviously the Illuminati, which I think are the people who are trying to keep all of you out there away from the truth, and in order to do that, they have to block your senses, so that way you cannot really see the truth. And by doing that, they are putting stuff in our foods, in our drinks, and how they started it off with fluoride.
What if you have it completely backwards? Like maybe the Illuminati are there to type, because they're the ones giving us the hints.
Yes.
So what if it's not the Illuminati? I'm just going to use the word government. I'm not saying it's just our government. But let's say you have these two sides. You have, quote unquote, the government versus the Illuminati, who are trying to get us there, but can't come out and say it because of that government figure.
What if it's what I think? And this is what got me into the research.
Okay.
I mean, it's funny how this is all going, but
go for it.
What got me there was, okay, I'm looking for UFO related, like, I think they're interdimensional, and then that's what got me going in. Okay. And then I found that this Prince of Persia, you know, he oversees the Prince of Persia, and then it later on says that when this angel leaves, or messenger, that's what angel means, messenger. Okay, this messenger leaves to go back to God, he has to go through the Prince of Greece. So he has one more fight, right? And he has to fight him. They're just not letting him fly from here to there. He has to go battle him, right? What if there's a Prince of America? And what if these entity things, maybe reptilian or something like that, you know, now I'm going to really blow everybody's, but only that was when finding in my research, the reptilian thing. What if they're the ones controlling the governments and the Illuminati? I mean, people are people, right? But only they promise them power and all this stuff, you know, and you'll do it because you rule. You know what I mean? Like, I have $5 billion in the bank.
Right.
And, you know, my family's going to be that way forever, as long as I do with this, you know, power of the air or whatever, this UFO reptilian thingamajig thing that's controlling the whole earth. You know.
I mean, we could be completely
Totally
wrong and
off,
off our rockers.
But
We'd
you know
never
what?
know.
But you know what? It all makes sense. What we are talking about right now makes total sense.
Well, it's not like we pulled it out of thin air.
No,
This is
no,
after digging and all Alan's
I mean,
research
you guys
and
can
stuff
go
like
and
that.
research what we're talking
And
about.
I watched all the Ancient Alien shows, and then I even went and researched every single thing that they talk about, as much as I could, like Sitchin and all, you know, Carl Sagan and the crop circles, that they're supposedly supposed to be talking to us, like they're giving us messages in crop circles. I mean, this thing is huge all over the world,
right?
And you can't figure it out. And then you have the government doing this stuff that doesn't make sense, you know, like not securing our border, but only sending 3,000 soldiers over there to secure their border,
right?
You know, to keep the Ebola contained there, but he won't contain nothing here. You know what I mean?
And then we have to bring our men back.
Well,
yeah, with Ebola probably.
And you know, Africa, you know, we're talking Egypt. You know, about, was it 5 years, 6, 7 years ago? I remember several of the presidents went to Africa, For some reason, Africa obviously is what we all know where humans started, right?
Well, not really. It's it actually started.
Did we start in the Middle East?
Yeah,
Well,
it was
okay, Middle
actually
East, Middle East.
Persia,
Yeah.
which we call Babylon
Right.
today, right?
Right.
It's where the little dude that keeps on saying he's gonna wipe out America and Jews. I can't remember his name.
Jung Fang Chang or whatever.
No, it's but he's in
Okay.
Iran.
Okay. Well, that's where all of the oldest temples
Right.
and, it's kind of funny that when 9/11 occurred, we sent pretty much all our military down there to secure. We went in there supposedly to get Saddam and the whole 9 yards, right? But we went in there and we tried to secure a lot of the old writings, the old buildings, because what happened is during the looting, a lot of the looters went and tore apart the museums, and a lot of that was basically our history of human race. It's all gone.
Some of them now, these ISIS.
Mm-hmm.
I was reading, in the researching I'm doing, I ran across some stuff where the ISIS are going and destroying stuff intentionally.
Right, and I've seen that.
I mean, they're destroying it. They nobody could see it.
Right.
And then you think, how many times has that happened? Like the Spaniards, did they do it? In the Inquisition, all the Bibles, everything, all that had to be. They like burned everybody and everything. I mean, how many times has this happened? And that's why, like, when people give me trouble when I say I'm like researching the Bible, and I tell them, you ever really? They say it isn't real. It's like been messed with all through the years. Like, you know what? It really hasn't. When they found the Dead Sea Scrolls in 1948, there was books that are identical to the one we have today, and those are 2,000 years old. So that was before the Inquisition and all the Romans and all that, and it was the same identical story. So it didn't get changed.
Right.
So you are reading exactly what they were reading, when Moses was walking around.
And like I've always told you guys, movies, and I'm going to bring up one of my favorite movies of all time. The two-part National Treasure. The second part where they find, or the first one where they find all the gold and the Dead Sea Scrolls, and I really think that our government is suppressing the information. Obviously, they don't want to give us the truth because they want to keep us in check.
What if there's a technology that happened like there was this big old giant catastrophe that wiped out everybody but a few people,
right?
Okay,
bring back the flood,
but before that, they had everything we have and maybe more.
Now, if you go and do research, which I'm sure you have, they are beginning to find
light bulbs,
hammers, some gears that have been intact, and coal that has actually developed around certain objects that have been tested and say they're like 6,000 years old or more than that.
Like 400,000 years.
Okay, we're talking millions of years, guys.
That's
way
ridiculous.
back. That just throws every single history book out the window. All right, and maybe what we'll do is we'll talk about that next week. We'll bring in and we'll show you photographs and all that kind of stuff.
We need to bring Scott Walter back and talk about some stuff again. I mean, he's been doing some more research, and I would love to hear where he's at right now.
For those who don't know, well, you know what? Let's get the TV show, and then we'll get Scott Walter and sit on the couch.
That's a good idea.
Okay. And for those who don't know,
guy.
I think it was like our first show right before Art Bell.
Yeah.
And we had Scott Walter on the phone. For those who don't know who Scott Walter is, he is the star of America Unearthed. We actually had him on the phone. You can go back to our archives right now at Livestream and listen to that show. We had Scott Walter on the phone. That show is awesome. Now, we haven't seen a third season come out, so I hope it didn't get canceled or they are, shooting a third season. But, my wife and I, we used to watch that every week. It's just the things he comes across as far as
he was pissing people off. He might
God.
not have another season.
Oh, you know what?
Just because of that.
That could be true, too.
He's telling the truth.
Yeah. You're right. So
Tell the truth, it's like
so yeah, I mean, what we are talking about right now, I bet you people are just tripping out. But
oh yeah,
I mean, religion and
they have to know,
paranormal are
same.
like this, are together. It's what we're talking about, you guys. I mean, that's all paranormal. Like he says, the Bible is the most paranormal book ever written, because
they were raising the dead.
they were talking about other dimensions, talking about crafts flying through the sky.
Dragons.
Yeah, they have dragons. They call them behemoths.
No, there was a dragon. I remember because I like dragons. But there was one, the seven-headed dragon, and they called it Dragon.
The devil is the reptilian. They even call him the reptilian.
Okay.
Right? And then, that's where, okay, that gets me, man. And then you start researching reptilians, right? And then you find out Chinese have a dragon. When you go to England or Great Britain, they have Pendragon.
There are dragons on all continents.
Even the old Mayans had the reptilians, like, the reptilians are everywhere. And I have a feeling they're the ones that is ruling our government.
Our government right now.
But I can't prove it.
Right. And a lot of people say...
Not yet.
A lot of people say the reptilians are underground,
Yep.
and under cities, and they've been there for millions of years, and they rule the earth. And they are trying to rule the earth once again, and they're using the governments of the world to do that. They're changing our atmosphere for them to come back up on us. I think for some reason right now they can't.
You want to hear something really a trip that I read? I mean, I read this last night, and there's this thing. It's called Habusa or something like that. It's a Greek term, and it means under the earth or hell. Right, under the earth. And in the last book, where it talks about the great dragon or whatever, coming in there, the Antichrist, they call him different names. Guess where he comes out of? He comes out of the Habusa or Babusa or whatever it is. He comes out of the hole of the earth. That's right. He doesn't come flying out of the sky or nothing. He comes out of the earth. That's where this dude comes from. So, now he's the reptilian dude, and where is he coming out of? The earth. Right.
So
it's interesting.
So the devil,
that gives me goosebumps.
So the devil could easily be the reptilians underground. That could be hell, for all we know.
It could be. It would be hell.
So we can go on for hours and hours on this, but I know it's interesting stuff.
I'm just trying to figure out the UFOs.
Yeah.
What are they?
Where
do they come from?
Exactly.
What's their intention?
Exactly.
Why are they taking people? Why does people get abducted? And and how come they make it where you can't remember? Most of the abduction people we talk to, they say, this is happening, and all of a sudden, they wake up.
Well, Men in Black had that thing that goes, and erase your memory. So, who knows? Maybe that's really a fact, and it actually, something like that exists.
It could.
Oh, my gosh. So, this is fun stuff, you guys. We're having a blast doing this. Okay, let's talk about... oh God, I'm looking at. Okay, well, let's.
We're running out of time.
No, almost. Okay, all right. I just know one of the networks. I think it was the Blaze. NASA came out and they actually on one of the telescopes took a snapshot of America, and they found 2 locations in the United States where a very high content of methane exists. And they made a big deal about this. And I looked at the map, and I'm going to show you the map right now, guys, on my screen. All right, change it over there.
I was trying to make the chat work here. It's like disappeared.
Okay. Now, let's talk about this. NASA came out and said there is, on the satellite imagery, that there's 2 locations where methane is extremely high. One is over Fresno, California, and the other one is located what is known to a lot of people who is involved in paranormal, the Four Corners, and that is Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, and Colorado. Now, if you know about the Four Corners, there is a paranormal investigator by the name of J.C. Johnson. One of these days we're going to have to get him on. This just came out a couple days ago. For those who don't know about the Four Corners, it is very paranormal at that intersection there for some reason. They have exactly what we are having here in Fresno, California, and that is an abundance of paranormal cases. And we're talking Bigfoot, we're talking ghosts, we're talking flying saucers, UFOs, flying monsters, whatever is happening at the Four Corners. And it's happening here in Fresno as well. That's why I got involved in this, because I was hearing so many stories going on that I wanted to find out what was going on. So let's take all that into consideration. All right. Now, when you're saying high methane, now, Alan, you pulled it up and said methane meaning coming from
greenhouse gas.
Greenhouse gases, right? A couple of years ago, NASA actually came to Fresno, and they were flying their planes around Fresno, and they were saying they were just looking and testing the air quality. And how did we know that? Well, it was on the news. I actually saw the NASA plane flying extremely low over Fresno for days. All right, and you guys probably all remember this as well. Now, in the Four Corners, out there, right in the section of Arizona, Colorado, Utah, New Mexico, they have been talking about this area forever. And for all those who know about paranormal, you know about the Four Corners. Well, a guy by the name of Bigelow came in and purchased some property there, and he built an area there dedicated for the research, and I believe into what's going on there at the Four Corners. And you know what? Go and look at the buildings that they built there. There's and the guards that surround these particular buildings. If you look on their hat, on the baseball cap, right in the middle, it's an alien face. That is their symbol. On the building, on the top of the building, you know how you have buildings and they'll say the name of the building, like Vaughn's or Save Mart or Fresno State. Well, this particular building will have a large alien face on it. And that's all real, guys.
And they wear hats like that too.
Yeah, the hats have the alien right in the middle. That is their logo.
That face.
Yes. So what the hell? And then what I found out is Bigelow. His last name is Bigelow.
It is Skinwalker Ranch.
Skinwalker Ranch, yeah. Correct. The Skinwalker Ranch. He actually bought out MUFON.
Yep, he did.
He purchased MUFON, guys. So now,
don't call MUFON.
Any report. That's one of the reasons why I quit MUFON. For all those who don't know, I used to be a MUFON investigator a long time ago, and I became state section director as well. And that's how I started in the UFO investigations. But I got out of MUFON because of what I was hearing about MUFON, and it got bought out by Bigelow, so I said, see ya. So all of the reports that go through MUFON go through Bigelow first, and he gets to see all that's going on. He has like helicopters on standby, like if there's an airplane crash, something. Now, from what I understand, if you notify certain airports and want to report a UFO, they forward you to the Bigelow people. They ask you to call this number, and it's Mr. Bigelow's people, and that's where you notify on. Okay, so it's kind of coincidental. And what have I told you guys? There are no coincidences in my book. I'm sorry, there isn't. Not in the field that we are in. That the Four Corners Skinwalker Ranch in Fresno, California, have a high methane for some reason. Now let's talk about that. Why would they be high methane in this area? Now, there's no fracking going on below us. I don't think there's any fracking. Now, people are going to make jokes. Well, you guys have a lot of farming and a lot of cows, and not really. It's more would be south, but still, at the Skinwalker Ranch, Four Corners, you don't have a high abundance of cows over there. So what is causing all that methane? it's coming obviously from someplace. I'm thinking maybe from underground.
If we want to play the dairy card, what about Texas? I mean, they're known for their dairies and
yeah,
like
but okay.
There
and
is
you're
there
right,
a cloud?
But the methane in Texas is not even.
That's what I'm saying.
You can't register it.
So that can't be used.
Now, as soon as you said that, a movie hit me, and it's with Charlie Sheen. Oh my God, what is the movie? Come on, you guys in chat. You guys don't know what I'm talking about. He's the scientist, the methane gas that in Mexico. Somebody should say it. What is it?
I'm Googling.
Charlie Sheen. The others. Oh my God! Somebody help me. One of my favorite movies, and I can't remember the name. And everybody right now on who's ever watching this are probably just yelling the name at me right now. Come on, talk to me.
I did make it. I got the chat working.
Talk to me.
Darn it!
It's The Arrival. Thank you. There, I got it. The Arrival.
The Arrival.
Yes. Now, the lizard people in The Arrival are trying to make it comfortable for them to live on Earth.
So they're releasing
methane. That's what that movie is about. It's exactly what that movie is about.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Okay. So you got to see that. All right.
So that means maybe these holes where the orange is, maybe there's a hole that goes down to the lizard,
and it's being released, and that's why there's so much paranormal activity for some reason.
Well, I mean, they have to have it so
right.
It leaks out of the hole into our atmosphere. So actually, the map is showing us where the hole is to get to them.
Yep.
Man, they're a stinky bunch, aren't they? They even show up on a radar map.
And this is something that's not made up, guys. I'm telling everything that I just told you is factual. All right, about the movie The Arrival with Charlie Sheen, the methane gas. There's a map that I'm showing to you right now on the screen. The two locations, Fresno and the Four Corners, and also it happens to lie on the 32-33 degree mark. So if that doesn't throw you for another loop, I'm not making this stuff up, guys. All right? You're not going to hear this on CNN. You're not going to hear this on Fox, on MSNBC. But you will hear it on Paranormal Central. Am I blowing you guys away yet? Good. That's what my attentions are.
That might not be... That looks like it's more like New Mexico.
What?
The Four Corners... I see. Arizona, Colorado, and New Mexico.
Right. No, it's right there. Because everybody, as soon as that came out, everybody posted it on J.C. Johnson's wall, and said, "Dude, look." But they're not putting two and two together. Like, look at the location of the other spot on the map. It's right over Fresno. And what do we have here in Fresno, guys? An abundance of cases of paranormal activity. Like, now is there a correlation someplace? Maybe. But
and the government building underground bases and protecting all kinds of weird places.
Right, and that's why they set up shop in Fresno, because of the activity. Why they released this, I don't know. But something like this, you would think maybe somebody accidentally released it, but that's all fact. Okay, guys? All right, let's move on to another story. Let's see here. Silence. Oh, you guys hear about the clown activity going on in Wasco? How do you pronounce it? Wasco, California. Yes, clowns
freaking out.
Clowns have been showing up and just standing around in Wasco, California. So what the heck is going on with these clouds? I'm gonna put another cloud into. What the heck is that? What the heck is that? For those who are watching it on the screen right now, Cheryl.
alive.
If people out there have clown phobias, right now you probably passed out because a clown just walked into my studio right now. Security! So, what is with these clowns going on in Wasco, California? I don't know, but it's kind of cool. I mean, if it's Halloween's around. Halloween is coming around.
You think that's what it is? Like,
I think it could be a promotion.
For what?
Either a movie, something coming out. Maybe there's a concert. Who knows?
or a Halloween store.
Yeah,
Something.
yeah. But I've never heard of this. Obviously, you've heard of clowns appearing all over the place and all that kind of stuff. So, but this clown is showing up of all places, Wasco, whatever, California, which is close to Bakersfield.
And it just showed up here.
In Porterville, right? It just showed up in Porterville, California, which is hop, skip, and a jump from where we live. And has this clown done any damage? No. He's just showing up and scaring the you-know-what out of people. My kind of clown. My kind of clown. So let's hope he stays that way. So, all right. Enough of the music. All right.
It was creeping me out.
I hope no one passed out there, because there are people who are deadly afraid of clowns. There's a phobia of clowns, and a lot of people have it. I posted this on my wall, and there were some people who had phobias of clowns, and they were like chewing me out. Take that off, because seriously, their phobias. One of the main phobias, is clowns, and people are terrified of clowns. I've known adults who will start crying when they see a clown. They will not go near, won't go to a circus, won't go to a fair. Even if they see a picture of a clown, they freak out, man.
I've seen people about snakes like that. Like,
oh, yeah.
Right before I came over here, my son gave my grandson a little wooden snake that was like,
Oh, the little toys?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was on the couch, and I have, my wife comes running in, get the snake, and I'm thinking, man, we moved out of the mountains a long time ago. I haven't seen a snake in the house in a long time. And she's like making me go in there, and I get in there, and there's this toy snake on the couch, and she was not getting near it. She was 20 feet away, and I picked it up and kind of went her way, and she took off running. It was like, okay. I didn't know what to do with it, though, so I threw it in the toy box. Hopefully, it comes out again.
Mean grandpa. All right. Another story we want to touch on is I had a picture sent to me by the UFO family out of Madeira.
Ooh, yeah.
Dallas sent me a picture. He's in high school, and he says, Jeff, check this out. And he sent me a photograph of an RFID chip. And for those who don't know what those are, that's been in the conspiracy talk for a long time. And what they say is going to happen eventually is people will get implanted by this little mechanism. It's a chip, and it's about the size of a rice. All right, that's small, and they put it under your skin, and that particular piece of size of a rice chip will have all of your records in there, from your health, Social Security, maybe even monetary. So one of these days they're thinking that that's the way no more credit cards, no more money will be involved. Snake.
A snake. It followed me.
So they're saying that chip will basically allow our government to keep track of us. All right? And if you know about the Bible and the number 666 and the number of the beast, that has been out there, that eventually the governments of the world will make you take this chip, and if you don't take this chip, well, then you won't eat, you won't be able to survive without the chip, because that chip will allow you to buy things, eat, the whole 9 yards. I
think it's going to be part of this one world government thing where it's going to be a requirement that they're just going to do away with everybody's money.
And as a matter of fact, Obamacare is going to be included in that.
Yep.
And you have to have the chip. Well, he sent me a copy. He took a picture with his phone and sent me and said, hey, my biology book, which was published in 2001, they are talking about the chip in biology books already. And if you can see there how small. So now I thought it was the size of a rice, but according to this photograph that I'm looking at right now, we're talking way smaller than a rice, and we're talking a speck, guys. And so when you go purchase something like at the store, all you have to do is wave your finger across the pad, and it'll take out the money for whatever you're buying, and you go on with your way. If you go to the doctor's office, you swing your finger across the pad, and all of a sudden all your medical records come up right there on the screen, with your history. Probably, for a police officer, if they pull you over, your license are not going to be on a paper. It's going to be in your finger. Show me your finger. There you are. Here's your name, your address, who you live, how many tickets you've had in the past. That's going to be coming.
They already have it.
Yeah.
Walmart.
Oh, that's right.
They put it in their distribution factory or center, and they save $7 billion, $7 billion with a B, in pilferage the first year that they put that in effect. So as the pallets, they all have these little RFID chips. They're no bigger than the period on a page. That's how big they are.
Wow.
And they're in clothing. Everything that you buy nowadays already has it in it. They already have it. Nobody knows that. Cars started having it since 2005. All cars from 2005 and older have RFID chip. It tells, like say you come up on a border,
Tell you where you're at. Yep.
It tells you everything about the car, who owned it, the history of the car. I mean, this stuff's already in place. All they have to do is make it happen for us.
Have you guys looked at your money recently? The bills, the new $10 bills, the $20 bills. If you look it up at the light, the sun, or a bright light, you'll see a strip on one side going down. That is an RFID chip. Okay, so whenever you buy something or you go across, like he said, the border, that's telling the government where that $20 has been, where it's gone, what it's been purchased from where. They are tracking every move and have been for a long time, guys. All right?
And the one that makes me the maddest right now, it's why does everything have to target poor people? Have you ever noticed that? Like, the poorest of the poor are the ones that's going to get forced on this. Right. Like right now, people that can't barely afford a car, and they're a risk to get a loan, and I understand why, but they put these tracking chips in their car and auto shut off. So say you're like 1 day late on your car payment, they can shut you off anywhere and just shut you down, and they know where the car is. They'll come and tow it like that fast. Right. And I mean, that is the newest, latest, greatest. I was reading an article about it, and the guy that owns a loan company was bragging that yesterday he shut off 30 cars with his cell phone while he was having dinner. It was like, man, what a chump,
So and that's one of the reasons why you see it also at the cash register when when you give the guy a 20, a 10, they hold it up to the light. Guess what they're looking at? They're looking for that particular barcode that's going down. If it's there, then they know it's a real bill. Right.
And it might go to it even faster now that your FLIR thing come out. Did you see the way if you have an iPhone and a FLIR, you can steal people's bank PIN numbers?
Oh, with the heat.
Yeah, I mean, you can be behind somebody and then walk up and
Now, if you again, National Treasure, the movie, the first one, when he sent the blondie who's in the museum a coin, and it had fluorescent invisible ink on it, and she went and held the coin and went to hit the keypad to put in her code, right? So when he came back, he shined a ultraviolet light on it and noticed the numbers were all 6 numbers that had the ink on it, right? And then they typed the numbers on the screen and then came up with the words, and that's how they got thing. But yeah, exactly. The heat signature. Wow. I mean, yeah. I mean, movies, guys. Everything you're watching in movies nowadays. I wish that they would come out with National Treasure #3. I am waiting for that Nicolas Cage. If you are listening to us,
He's coming out with Left Behind.
Oh, that just came out, and you want to know who actually put up the money for that movie? Who produced it?
Who?
And that's what a producer
I
is.
know.
The Duck Dynasty, the head guy, he forked up the money for that movie.
Wow.
Because he's very religious.
The Duckster.
Okay, because he's a very religious person, and this Left Behind movie is about the rapture.
He's a jerk.
I think they are too.
Yeah.
But they're multi-gazillionaires, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
It's
but no,
just
he was
ducky, I tell
and
you.
don't take that, and don't go see the movie because he produced it. It's just a good paranormal movie.
Well, the book is good. I read the whole series of books.
Okay.
And the books are really good. They really are. Mm.
So yeah. So there you go. We still have to go see that movie. I have to go see the movie. Like, time has been very, very tight on us. We just don't have time anymore to do any of these things because of what we're doing right now and what's going on. So there you go. Josh still hasn't called. We've got about 30 minutes left for the show. Hopefully he'll call in so we can talk about the Ebola and what he witnessed for himself located here in the valley floor. And I think that's going to blow you away because it's like forecasting, basically, that the governments know something is coming up.
Well,
But
everybody thought it was swine flu. How many heard of the swine flu?
Yeah.
And I mean, they had everybody panicking over the swine flu, and guess what? It never happened. That was the biggest panic for nothing I ever saw in my life.
Let's talk about the Malaysian plane that you just brought up.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about that.
The Malaysian plane.
Now, advise them what that was. What the one that disappeared, right?
Yeah, and it was like 7 months ago when that plane, and it was a 777. Okay, now that's huge. That's a big old giant jet. And they're saying that the pilot wasn't trained to turn off the tracking. Okay, and the guy that's in charge of it kind of wants to add another, like a tracking onto it that nobody could turn off. I mean, nowadays there shouldn't be nothing that anyone could do inside that cabin to turn off a tracking thing. I mean, that should not be. Okay. But they're saying that it was turned off, okay? And now Malaysian Airlines, some people was looking into this, and they found out that there was some kind of cargo on this plane, and they took it off the manifest.
Dun 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 dun.
And now they're not saying what was in the plane. Okay, now there was something in that plane they went off the manifest, and then the plane, they think, was flying towards the Arctic, or some cold place. I really didn't follow like where it was going and everything, but they're saying that the only plane that ever was lost completely without a trace was Amelia Earhart. All the rest of the planes, they found a seat or this or that, or there's always something left of the plane that they would find. This is the only one since Amelia Earhart that ever totally disappeared and never.
And that was a small little plane, so we
Right.
could understand why. Back then they didn't have search parties and satellites and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Now we do. With all the technology, what Alan is saying is that plane should have not disappeared.
That's right. It was intentionally, something was in that plane, and they intentionally turned it off, and the pilots weren't trained to turn it off. So whoever was in that plane knew how to turn off the tracking in it.
Now,
and it wasn't the pilots because they're not trained to do that.
we had a show about this.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, there was several people on that plane who were the patent holders of a certain chip.
And I wonder if that was some certain cargo.
That maybe an invention that they had just finished inventing, and that chip or chips, plural, were in that cargo. Oh my God, dude.
I mean, you're talking about billions of dollars too, potentially, with that, what they were coming out with. I mean, the one guy that owns it right now is making billions from that.
Oh, it was now doesn't the Rothschilds or own now the patent to that now because the six
one guy
because the
Rothschild.
the 6 people on that plane in the paperwork somewhere, if those 6 people would die, then the patent all of a sudden is turned over to another party, which is the Rothschild holder. So they removed something on that manifest, and maybe they were all bringing something back someplace that was going to change the world as we know it.
And maybe it was going to be something that wasn't going to cost us money, and they don't want that. They want to be able to meter it and charge us.
Wow, guys!
I don't know. That's totally conjecture.
Well, no, I mean, but what we have just told you guys is fact. There were 6 people on that airplane who perished. Well, we don't know. They haven't found the bodies, but hold the patent to the chip that has what? How many cores? What?
500.
500 cores, right?
And it can fit in your cell phone.
And it is also the same chip, crop circle that was found on. And we had an. We weren't with Art Bell at the time, were we?
I don't know. It was in the spring, I think.
Oh, so yeah, we weren't even with Art Bell. Man, you guys have missed so much. Oh my God, you guys. We have field day. We had so many good shows back then.
Well, I'm working on those shows.
Oh my gosh.
I have to edit them to take out copyright stuff that but I am working on it. And in fact, I took down that one show that everybody couldn't watch. That was a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
That had the chimp in it.
Oh, right.
And the BBC made it where they blocked it totally worldwide. Nobody could watch it. So I deleted that one, and I'm taking the chimp out of it, and I'm putting the show back on, and I'll let everybody know when it goes up.
There are so many shows, guys, that
I'm
have
working
done in the
on
past.
There's 250 something shows
that we did that would just blow you away. Would blow you away. And I'm sorry that you guys are barely finding out about it, but we've been doing this for 5 years now.
There's one on YouTube.
Actually, 7 years. Oh my God.
All the new people, that signed on in the last few months, you could go to the YouTube and look for, I think it's 101102 is the name of it. Abduction at Courtright. It's a 3-hour show. That show really...
That show doesn't scare you to go camping ever again.
Yeah, David Paulides is good at scaring you to go camping, but this one will drive the nail through it, man. You won't go camping. But I mean, that is one of the better shows. I love it.
101102. And spell it out in words, okay?
Yeah.
TN-11-TWO. And go and watch that video. It's 3 hours. I had the abductee inside the studio at the time. You guys were going to trip.
And one of them died.
Yeah.
He died from radiation. Okay.
Stomach cancer.
Yeah, but only from radiation.
Oh, wow,
He got
that
cancer
we don't
from
know.
radiation.
Yeah. But that's a really good show. If you really want to get scared, guys, go watch that show. That's on the internet. So,
yeah, man, right. I'm telling you, that one was good, and they even tied it in with the Bigfoot. Even, I mean, whoa.
And you know what? All those shows that we have back then that the Art Bell crowd and fans haven't heard of, once we get the show on TV, we can bring all those back.
Yeah, we can.
And do it on the set with the people live in the studio. And last night we had a production meeting. And we're going to start filming the TV show next month. Everybody's really excited. The set came out pretty dang good. And I think we're going to have fun. I can't wait. I really can't wait. So, sizzle reel has also been finished. Nah. So, okay. All right. So we got 20 minutes left.
No sizzle reel.
No sizzle
reel.
What
are you talking about?
No, 20 minutes. We got 20 minutes left to go. Josh, we're waiting for you, brother. But obviously, he's in the emergency room. I guess his daughter got hurt at playing softball. So, I was hoping he was going to call in, or we were going to call him. So we got 20 minutes left.
Yeah, poor guy. I hate being in the ER. It sucks.
Thank God.
That has to be one of the worst places in the world to spend your time.
That and the VA hospital.
Oh, my. like where they have my mom in rehab, and I'm going in there, and there's some people that live there, and they're in a wheelchair, and they're out of it, and every day they're sitting there, and sometimes they have like a puddle of pee under them, and I'm like, okay, when I get to that point, put me in my wheelchair and push me off a cliff. You know what I mean? I don't want to spend 5 years in the wheelchair just sitting there, oh my God. That I don't want to do that.
Right.
Either that or push a clown out in front of me and scare me to death right then.
A heart attack. So, what's been going on around Fresno lately? We have had a couple of UFO sightings. One in Dinuba, from what I understand from Danny, and report said that about 3 jets took off out of the airport heading that direction.
I saw 6.
You saw 6?
Yeah.
Okay. And also Dinuba, and that's also China Lake. So could they have very well been on their way drop bombs? And sure. But it just so happens that the UFO was spotted in that direction. All of a sudden the jets start taking off. And that happens quite a bit in Fresno, guys. I tell you, it happens. I don't know if I should talk about it right now because I know people are listening. And those people don't want me to talk about this. So I'm not. I'm going to wait until we get him on the phone. I've been trying to get him on the phone. But yeah, for some reason. Guess who actually sent me a text back? Steve Pierce from Fire in the Sky. You guys know 4 weeks ago, we had him on, and the interview abruptly ended. Well, let me tell you why. It's not because he got pissed. It's not because he just didn't want to talk. He actually sent me a text at that moment when he was just about to hang up, and I didn't get it because I turned off the volume on my phone, so I didn't hear it ding at me. He said that his wife is freaking out right now, and the reason is there is a black car parked out in front of their house. He said the men in black are out there right now, Jeff, and I don't know if they automatically shut his phone down, but he ended the conversation because they were out there in front of his house, and his wife was getting scared. So that's the reason why he hung up. Then he went on vacation. He got married, came back, and I basically sent him a text, and I said, dude, so are you ready to come back on? And he finally answered it, and he said, LOL, no. and then he said, I am done for a while. And he said for a while. Okay, so I don't think he's totally out of it yet. He's starting a new portion of his life, now married, so I think he's taking all that in. Maybe later on he might get comfortable enough to come back out, but he trusts me. I'm hoping that he does. He said he does. And I'm hoping that when he does come back and he wants to continue talking about what's happening to him, that he will come to me. And we'll get him on and we'll talk more about it. But they're not letting him alone. They're not leaving him alone. They're constantly monitoring him because he is being visited. And that's all I'm going to say.
Now his buddy, is it Steve Walton? Is that his name?
Travis Walton.
Travis Walton. That guy is like busy. I mean, he's busy. He's going to be in some upcoming cons and guest speaking everywhere. And I hear him on other shows and stuff. And I mean, that guy's a busy guy. They're not messing with him. I mean, something's up. Did he make a deal or something with them so they don't mess with them?
I don't know. Well,
because I mean, they mess with this guy,
and maybe
completely.
There's a reason. What happened to Travis Walton was maybe a one-time deal. What's happening to Steve Pierce is an ongoing, and he's still being visited for some reason, and maybe that's why he's being monitored to find out why they constantly coming back to him.
Maybe they wanted him in the beginning and not Walton.
Ooh, hey, you know what? There's something back there that we can talk about.
Like. It just so happened like they didn't hit Walton right away, right? They waited till he got all the way over there, and then they kind of just bam shot him.
And that's something
you know.
that really. See, he didn't allow us to talk about the book, the content of the book. And
Right.
the content of the book has what's going on with him right now in his life. And if I would, if I was able to talk about that, then those were the questions that I was going to answer. How long has this been happening? Has it been happening since you've been a kid? And if I were going to get the answers that I assumed we were going to get, then that was going to be basically 2 + 2 = 4, and that's the reason why this all happened. But like you said, maybe it wasn't Travis that they were looking for, and they were looking for Steve instead.
I mean, how many times have we heard of abductions where they pick people out,
Right.
and everybody wakes up, but only one really was taken? You know what I mean? Everybody got knocked out, one was taken. And usually that one is the one that has it keep on happening and happening and happening.
And
right?
also it goes back even
Yeah.
years
To the
back in the children and the grandparents, and somebody, one person has that, whatever it's inside of him that are making them come back and abduct them for a reason, like, I don't know what it is. But
You know what's cool? We just got some DVDs. I haven't looked at them. I've been busy. But Clifford Stone. And everybody out there knows who he is. He's the Roswell guy, the sergeant in the army, and he had one of our friends. I call our viewers friends. You guys are friends. So one of our friends went to New Mexico and actually met up with Clifford Stone, and he found out that she was one of our viewers' friends. And she gave him some DVDs, and then sat and talked with him for.
he gave her some DVDs.
Yeah, he gave her some DVDs for us,
Right.
And he said we can share them as much as we want. He gave us copyright permission,
Right.
But what was cool was something that he never talked about on TV. He's been on the History
Everything.
Channel. Yeah, he's been on all of them. He's actually been being visited by aliens since he was a kid, and all the way through his lifetime, and now they're starting to visit his grandkids, and he doesn't like it, but now that's what we're talking about, is they start like when you're young and they continue on through your whole life, and maybe even follow generationally through a family line.
Yep.
And they could have been going to your grandpa and your great-grandpa and your great-grandpa. I mean, that's how these things go, and that is where I research heavily in that area. I'm hoping the DVDs has something really cool, and I will share it with you guys, because you said I could.
Okay.
If it's good enough, to share.
People like that would be a great guest in the studio,
Yeah.
live on the couch, for TV. Now, he was in a wheelchair, so I don't know.
No, he walks.
Oh, he walked fine? Oh.
Yeah, it was the mother-in-law was sitting in a wheelchair that they had. They were in a museum.
Right.
In the Area
Roswell.
51. Yeah, Roswell Museum. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's right.
Cool.
But yeah,
Well,
man.
there's so many stories that we want to bring you guys. Stuff that you haven't heard yet on TV. We have so many cases that we've done personally, worked with personally.
Oh, yeah.
That if we can bring in the people and from all over the United States and show you photographs and video of stuff that you've never seen before ever, this is what we want to do, and we're going to start filming next month. So I can't wait. All right, well, we got 12 minutes left. Anybody want to call in really quick? Give you a couple of minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes to talk about a certain subject. Area code 559 287 8367 559 287 8367. Those are the last four numbers represent the letters UFOS. That's also my paranormal hotline number. So if you ever call that number, I will personally answer it. Please don't call me when I'm asleep. Not unless it's a major emergency like a downed UFO or something historical that you want to tell me right away before the military comes in and scoops it up. Then call me and wake me up out of bed. But otherwise, if you want to talk to me about something top secret, go ahead and call me and let me know what it is. I would love to hear about it. So if you have videos, if you guys have photographs, that you've kept away in the drawer for years and years and years, waiting for an opportunity to show somebody, and you haven't showed it to anybody because you're afraid that they're going to laugh at you. Here we will never laugh at you. We live for this stuff. We want to see anything that you have.
We'll investigate what you talk about.
I mean, if you blow us away with the evidence that you present to us, and we will come to you and talk to you personally. Okay, we just had a call come in. Let's see.
I like investigating.
Yeah.
Like when you guys call, I want to investigate.
Hello, this is Jeffrey and Ellen on Paranormal Central. Who's this?
Hello, this is Charles from Tennessee. I called about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, how's it going, Charles?
How are you all doing?
Good.
I was going to call you and compliment you. Even though the guests didn't show up, this is probably the best show I've heard you all do.
Aww.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Charles.
Because I think your interaction is just really, 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 you're really spot on right now.
Wow.
And you're hitting something that I've been seeing a wave in people that normally are not talking about religion, spirituality, anything. In the past 4 weeks, I have seen people have major awakenings. And it's on the realistic side of it. It's not like they're going to go to revival and then do this and then be jumping up and down and then 4 weeks later doing it.
Right.
I've seen people just completely, totally change.
Well, the
And
revival thing
it's
is almost
like
fake
it's going
now.
through the air.
Right.
In the Bible, the angel of death went through. I think the angel of life is going through right now.
Wow.
And if you grab onto it, we all have a chance to survive whatever may come. But things are iffy. I think you're right too. That Ebola is the bullfighter's cake to get the bull to, to distract the bull to go around the real thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It just.
And you were talking about the chip. The way they can give it to everybody real easily.
The shot.
They're getting tinier and tinier and tinier.
An injection.
Probably a lot tinier than what you're thinking. Even the dot.
We're
The vaccine.
nano. We're talking nano.
Because that's the way they give it to your pets. They give it to a needle.
Right.
Oh, you mean like vaccine?
A
Yes.
tracking trip, yeah.
It's like, oh, you have Ebola. Come get your
Or even
shot,
the
right?
simple flu shot.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right. Absolutely. And you're right. They inject you with something, and that's it. You've got that chip now inside you. We're talking nano. We're talking,
Man, no wonder it hurts so bad when they do that.
So, and you're absolutely right, Charles. As far as we know, we might already have it. But yeah, I totally agree.
I think there might be people that have they experimentally had them put in. But as far as the Great Wave, they've not got. I think they're just now. That might be part of why they built the big Utah Center that is supposed to be run by the NSA.
Right. Oh, yeah.
That might be tracking the chips.
Wow. Never thought about that.
Whoa.
That's probably what it's about. And I think that HARP, with its signals going out, could be doing that. Although, officially, HARP's supposed to be closed this month, but that HARP, there might be a new improved somewhere else.
Right. I mean, now, back then, HARP were acres and acres and acres of arrays of antennas. Now they can put HARP on a ship out in the ocean. So, the HARPs now could be very, very small.
Well, what about the cell phone towers? What if every cell phone tower has a
Yeah.
small HARP?
Yeah.
Then you might be doing a 10 to 15 mile area.
Right. Like Fresno, like the other day, that ruined my wallpaper.
Oh, yeah.
Oh God,
That's
serious.
I mean, it came out of nowhere, Charles. I mean, the rain was not in the forecast, and all of a sudden, it opened up over Fresno, and my set in my studio got ruined. It's like, wow. But I totally agree.
And it hasn't rained in 2 years.
Yeah,
like.
and all of a sudden, it rained on that one day. Oh my gosh.
Now, I tell you someone that you need for a guest.
Okay.
Because I'd never heard his stuff until the past couple of weeks, and I heard it, and it's fitting in with everything's falling into place right now, and I think it is for so many people, and the scales are falling away, the eyes are opening, and everything. L.A. Marzulli.
Man, I want him. I've been researching that guy. I would love to have him. You know who his good friend
he'll do
is?
your show.
We've had his buddy, the one with the Bigfoot track that's in the sizzle reel.
Oh my God.
See, we've had him on the show,
Right.
and they went to Peru together. And I would love to
Now, I know he did with Judson. Was one of the people.
Well, you know what, Charles? When we start this television show,
Yes.
I plan to bring in people like that we will sit down and have a conversation. Like it's very cool that you acknowledged our conversations or how we can interact. Well, that's how we want to interact with the interviewee on the couch, just like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like two people were sitting down on a table in a bar having a conversation with a beer. That's the way I feel it should come across. So I totally agree. Hey, we got 1 minute left to go. Hey, Charles, I appreciate you calling in, and I appreciate the kind words. I
would like to talk to you all behind the scenes. I've got a lot more to tell you about the story.
Maybe we could do a
that goes
Skype
around
call.
Me, and just get a hold of me. You've got my phone number.
Right, yeah, we do.
Get a hold of me, and I would like to. I'm in a real mood to spill the beans tonight. If you all have a few minutes, I'll tell you about some more stuff because I was talking to a friend of mine and got it. But yeah, you all are great. You're getting better and better and better. In fact, you are my favorite show.
Right on.
You're my must-hear guilty pleasure every week.
Right on, Charles. All right, we got to get out of here, Charles. I appreciate you calling, and we're going to call you, okay, pretty quick, all right?
See you. Thanks,
All
guys.
right,
Night, Charles.
See ya.
Bye.
All right, that's it for us here at Paranormal Central. Thank you for showing up. And again, 2 hours went by really quick. That's why we have 3 hours. We're going to start 3 hours, hopefully, here pretty soon. So, all right, my name is Jeffrey Gonzalez with Alan Thomas and Emerald Bonilla and the Scary Clown.
Bye,
Good night,
guys.
everybody. Take care.
You have been listening to Paranormal Central with Jeffrey Gonzalez and Alan Thomas, broadcasting worldwide at ParanormalCentral.net and on ArtBell.com. Stay tuned for next time. Remember to keep your eyes to the skies, and we hope you witness something you cannot explain.
Looking for you, you're looking for me. We have to decide what it will be. Can it be true? Can I